Have you ever tried fasting to lose weight? Maybe skipping breakfast, pushing through lunch, and telling yourself you're just training your body to burn fat. But instead, you end up tired, cranky, and craving everything in sight. I get it. Fasting can absolutely work, but if you're hitting a wall, there's a good reason for it. You're missing one critical piece of the fat-burning puzzle, and that's protein. Here's the truth, fasting alone doesn't automatically melt fat. What it really does is give your body time to switch over to burning stored energy. But if you're not eating enough protein when you do eat, your body starts to burn through muscle instead of fat. And that's a problem. Muscle isn't just for looking good. It's what keeps your metabolism running high, keeps you strong, and helps your body burn calories even while you're resting. Lose muscle, and your metabolism slows down, making weight loss harder and rebounds easier. Protein fixes that. It tells your body, hey, we've got the building blocks we need. No need to break down muscle. It keeps your hunger hormones stable, so you don't feel like raiding the fridge at midnight. And it balances your blood sugar, which means no more energy crashes halfway through the day. So if fasting feels like a struggle, it's not that fasting stopped working. It's that protein wasn't there to support it. Once you get this combination right, fat loss becomes easier, steadier, and a whole lot more sustainable. Stick with me because by the end of this, you'll see exactly how protein is the secret weapon that makes fasting finally work the way it's supposed to. A lot of people jump into fasting thinking it's the magic key to unlock fat loss. And don't get me wrong, fasting can be a great tool. It lowers insulin, gives your digestive system a break, and helps your body tap into stored fat for energy. But here's what most people don't realize. When fasting is done without enough protein, it can actually start working against you. See, your body doesn't just burn fat during a fast. It also looks for other sources of fuel, especially if you're not giving it the nutrients it needs when you finally eat. And the easiest source it can grab is your muscle tissue. That's right, when your protein intake is too low, your body starts breaking down lean muscle to free up amino acids for basic functions. You might still see the scale move down, but what you're really losing isn't just fat, it's muscle. Now, here's the catch. Muscle is your body's fat-burning engine. The more lean muscle you have, the more calories your body burns around the clock, even while you're sitting on the couch or sleeping. So, when fasting leads to muscle loss, your metabolism slows down. You start burning fewer calories each day, and eventually, you hit that dreaded plateau where fat loss just stops. And when you do eat again, your body's slower metabolism makes it a lot easier to store that food as fat. Another big issue is hunger. Low protein intake messes with your hunger hormones, ghrelin and leptin, making you feel hungrier, less satisfied, and more likely to overeat when your eating window opens. That's why so many people say, I do great while I'm fasting, but once I start eating, I can't stop. That's your body's way of begging for nutrients, especially protein. When you start eating enough protein, though, everything changes. Protein helps preserve lean muscle while you're fasting, so your metabolism stays strong. It signals to your body that there's no need to burn muscle for fuel. Instead, your body can focus on burning stored fat, which is what you want. Protein also has a high thermic effect, meaning your body burns more calories just digesting it compared to carbs or fat. So even while you're eating, you're supporting your fat burning process. And because protein is slow digesting, it gives you a steady stream of amino acids that keep you full, stabilize your blood sugar, and prevent that crash crave cycle that so many people experience after fasting. Let's look at what happens when you combine the two, fasting and adequate protein. When you're fasting, you lower insulin and give your body a signal to tap into stored fat. When you break your fast with a protein-rich meal, you preserve muscle, boost your metabolism, and stabilize your energy. That combination turns your body into a fat-burning machine, efficient, steady, and sustainable. And the best part, you'll feel the difference. Instead of feeling sluggish or lightheaded, you'll have steady energy throughout the day. Instead of feeling ravenous after a fast, you'll actually feel satisfied and in control. You'll notice that your body composition starts to change, less fat, more tone, and a metabolism that actually works with you instead of against you. This is where so many people go wrong with fasting. They think less food automatically equals more fat loss. But it's not about eating less, it's about eating smart. You can fast all you want, but if you're not getting enough protein, you're essentially running a car without oil. Eventually, things start breaking down. So if you've been fasting, doing everything right, and still not seeing the results you want, don't throw in the towel. Just adjust your approach. Keep your fasting windows, but prioritize protein when you eat. Meat, fish, Greek yogurt, whey protein shakes, whatever fits your style. Once your body gets enough protein to protect your muscle, balance your hormones, and support recovery, your fasting results will take off. You'll burn more fat, keep your strength, and have consistent energy that makes this a lifestyle, not a short-term fix. That's the real key, not fasting harder or longer, but fasting smarter with the right nutritional support. And protein is the piece that makes the whole thing click. When people think about speeding up their metabolism, they often imagine doing hours of cardio or cutting calories harder. But the truth is, your metabolism isn't just about how much you move. It's about what your body does after you eat. And that's where protein makes all the difference. Every time you eat, your body uses energy to digest, absorb, and process nutrients. This is called thermogenesis. Out of all the macronutrients, carbs, fat, and protein has the highest thermic effect. Your body actually burns more calories breaking down and using protein than it does with anything else. For example, about 20–30% of the calories in protein are burned off just through digestion. Compare that to carbs at about 5–10% and fats at around 0–3%. So, if you eat 100 calories of protein, your body might only net about 70–80 of them. The rest is burned in the process. That's a built-in metabolic advantage. Protein literally keeps your metabolism more active just by being part of your diet. It's like turning up the thermostat inside your body every time you eat. That's why people who eat higher protein diets tend to burn more calories throughout the day, even at rest. Now, let's contrast that with what happens during extended fasts or very low protein diets. When your body goes too long without food, it naturally tries to conserve energy. Your metabolism slows down a bit because your body doesn't know how long it's going to be without fuel. This is a survival mechanism. Your system is basically saying, let's burn slower so we can stretch what we've got. That's fine for short-term fasting, but over time, if you're not refueling with enough protein, that slower metabolism can become your new normal. This is one of the biggest reasons people hit a plateau during fasting. They start off burning fat like crazy, but after a few weeks, their metabolism adapts and slows down. Then they feel tired, sluggish, and frustrated that the same plan isn't working anymore. But when you bring protein back into the picture, especially during your eating windows, everything shifts. Protein tells your body that fuel and nutrients are available, so there's no need to slow down. Your metabolism stays active, muscle is preserved, and fat burning continues. And here's something really important. Eating protein doesn't break fat burning. It actually fuels it. People sometimes think, if I eat, I'll stop burning fat. But that's not how your body works. When you eat protein, you're giving your body the raw materials it needs to keep metabolism running efficiently. Think of it like keeping a fire burning. Fasting is what helps you light the fire, but protein is what keeps it going strong. Without that fuel, the flame starts to flicker. Plus, protein helps regulate blood sugar and insulin levels, which keeps you in a better fat-burning state overall. You won't get those spikes and crashes that make you crave junk food or reach for snacks you don't need. Instead, your energy stays even, your focus stays sharp, and your body keeps running smoothly. Let's make this practical. A high-protein breakfast might be 3 eggs cooked in butter with some Greek yogurt on the side. That combo keeps you full and energized for hours. Lunch could be grilled chicken or salmon with a pile of leafy greens and olive oil dressing. Dinner, maybe a beef stir, fry or some baked fish with roasted veggies. Even a simple protein shake between meals can make a big difference in keeping your metabolism humming. If you've ever noticed that you feel warmer or more energized after a high-protein meal, that's thermogenesis in action. Your body is literally burning more calories as it processes that protein. That's something fasting alone can't do because, well, there's no food to process. So, the next time you break your fast, think of it as fueling your metabolism instead of stopping it. A plate of protein, rich food keeps your body in that sweet spot, burning calories, maintaining lean muscle, and keeping energy steady. When you get enough protein consistently, your metabolism doesn't crash between fasts. It stays ready, active, and efficient. That's how you turn fat burning into something that happens around the clock, not just when you're skipping meals. And once you experience that steady energy and easier fat loss, you'll realize protein isn't the enemy of fasting. It's the secret ally that makes it work long term. Most people know that fasting lowers blood sugar, and that's true, at least for a while. When you go without food, your insulin drops, and your body begins to tap into stored energy. But here's the part that doesn't get talked about enough. While fasting can temporarily improve blood sugar, it doesn't necessarily stabilize it. And that's where protein has a real advantage. When your blood sugar drops too low during a fast, your body releases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline to bring it back up. Those hormones trigger cravings, irritability, and that jittery, anxious feeling that often hits after hours of not eating. If you've ever been in the middle of a fast and suddenly found yourself craving everything from bread to chocolate, that's not just willpower. That's your blood sugar roller coaster in action. Now, here's the beauty of protein. When you eat enough of it, especially early in the day, it helps your body keep blood sugar stable. Protein digests slowly and releases glucose into your bloodstream in a steady, gradual way. That means no spikes, no crashes, and no sudden waves of hunger or fatigue. It also helps your pancreas release insulin more efficiently without flooding your system. In short, protein acts like a steady hand on your body's blood sugar dial, keeping it balanced so you feel calm, clear-headed, and in control. Let's look at a simple example. Imagine two people starting their day. The first one decides to skip breakfast to fast until lunch. The second one eats a protein-rich breakfast, maybe 3 eggs, a bit of avocado, and a few slices of turkey bacon. At 8 a.m., both feel fine. But by 10 a.m., the person who skipped breakfast starts feeling that dip, low energy, a little shaky, maybe distracted. Their body's blood sugar has dropped, so cortisol starts to rise to compensate. By 11 a.m., they're hungry and thinking about food constantly. When noon hits, they're ready to eat everything in sight, often reaching for something quick and carb-heavy just to feel normal again. Now look at the second person. Their breakfast provided steady fuel from protein and healthy fat. Their blood sugar stays level all morning. No spike, no crash, no frantic search for food. When lunchtime comes, they're still feeling steady. They can make better food choices and eat calmly. This difference might seem small, but over time, it's massive. When your blood sugar is balanced, your hunger hormones, ghrelin and leptin, stay in sync. You naturally eat less without trying, your mood stays stable, and your body stays in a fat-burning mode all day long. Fasting alone doesn't always give you that stability. It lowers insulin, yes, but if you swing between low blood sugar during your fast and high blood sugar after breaking it with the wrong foods, you're just trading one extreme for another. Protein fills in that gap. It creates the smooth middle ground your metabolism needs to function optimally. Another thing protein does is slow down the digestion of carbs eaten with it. So if you do include some fruit, sweet potato, or whole grains in your meal, eating them with protein will prevent that quick blood sugar spike. That's why pairing foods like chicken and rice, or eggs and berries, works so well. It's not just about the calories, it's about how those foods interact hormonally. Think of protein as your blood sugar stabilizer. It keeps your body from flipping between fat storing and fat burning modes all day long when blood sugar spikes and crashes. Insulin follows the same pattern, and that constant fluctuation tells your body to hold on to fat. But when you keep things level, insulin stays low and steady, which allows fat burning to continue without interruption. You'll notice it in your energy too. When your blood sugar is balanced, you don't get that mid-afternoon crash where you need caffeine or a sugary snack just to push through. Your focus stays sharp and your body feels steady. Not on edge, not starving, just balanced. That's what sustainable fat loss feels like: calm, predictable energy without constant cravings. If you've ever wondered why some people seem to lose fat without struggling, it's often because they've mastered this one principle: controlling blood sugar. And the easiest way to do it isn't just through fasting, it's through prioritizing protein at every meal. So instead of waking up and trying to power through hours of hunger, try this: start your day with protein. It doesn't have to be complicated. Scrambled eggs, a protein shake, or Greek yogurt with some nuts. You'll notice fewer cravings, better mood, and more stable energy. And that's what sets the stage for consistent, effortless fat loss over time. One of the biggest frustrations people face when trying to lose weight is constant hunger. You can be doing everything right, sticking to your fasting window, cutting calories, drinking water. But if you're always hungry, your willpower eventually runs out. Hunger isn't just in your head. It's driven by powerful hormones that tell your body when to eat and when to stop. And protein happens to be the single best way to get those hormones working for you, instead of against you. Let's start with ghrelin, often called the hunger hormone. When ghrelin rises, you feel that gnawing, empty stomach sensation that makes food hard to resist. It's your body's way of signaling, hey, we need fuel. Fasting naturally increases ghrelin, which is one reason fasting gets harder the longer you go without eating. That's not a failure of willpower, it's pure biology. Now here's where protein makes a huge difference. When you eat enough protein, ghrelin levels drop quickly and stay low for hours. Protein triggers a strong satiety signal to your brain, telling it, we're good. No need to keep searching for food. That's why meals high in protein leave you feeling full and satisfied long after you've eaten, while meals based mostly on carbs or fat don't have that same lasting effect. Then there's leptin, your satiety hormone. Leptin is released by your fat cells and tells your brain when you've had enough food. In a healthy system, leptin helps you regulate appetite naturally. You eat when you need energy and stop when you're full. But when insulin levels are high or your diet lacks sufficient protein, leptin's signal gets weaker. Your brain doesn't get the message that you're full, so you keep eating. Over time, this can lead to what's called leptin resistance, where your body has plenty of leptin, but your brain doesn't recognize it. Protein helps restore that communication. By balancing blood sugar and insulin, protein allows leptin to do its job effectively. You regain that natural off switch for hunger. You're not forcing yourself to stop eating. Your body simply feels done. That's the difference between dieting and nourishing. Now, let's look at how fasting fits into this picture. Short, well-structured fasting can absolutely support fat loss. It lowers insulin and gives your digestion a break. But if you push fasting too hard without enough protein, ghrelin starts to rise sharply. You might notice that after a long fast, you don't just feel hungry, you feel ravenous. That's ghrelin screaming for attention. And when that happens, it's easy to overeat once your fast ends, often choosing quick, high-carb foods your body thinks it needs for immediate energy. This is why so many people say, fasting worked for a few weeks, but now I'm constantly hungry. The fasting itself isn't the problem. It's the lack of protein during the eating window. Protein keeps ghrelin low and leptin responsive, creating a calm, balanced appetite. It's the difference between fighting hunger and mastering it. Here's an example. Imagine two people break a 16-hour fast. One eats a protein-rich meal, grilled chicken, veggies, maybe some eggs. The other grabs a quick smoothie loaded with fruit and almond milk. For the first person, ghrelin drops, leptin kicks in, and they feel satisfied for hours. For the second, blood sugar spikes, insulin rises, and ghrelin rebounds soon after. They're hungry again before long. Both broke their fast, but only one did it in a way that truly supports fat-burning hormones. When you start giving your body enough protein, you'll notice hunger becomes predictable and manageable. You're not constantly thinking about your next meal. You can go longer between eating without feeling deprived. You'll naturally eat fewer calories because your body isn't begging for food every few hours. And that's the beauty of it. You're not starving yourself to lose fat. You're fueling yourself strategically. You're teaching your body that it's safe, nourished, and can burn stored fat efficiently. Once those hunger hormones are balanced, fat loss stops being a battle of willpower. It becomes something your body does naturally, almost effortlessly. So instead of trying to suppress hunger by sheer discipline or pushing fasting to extremes, focus on the real fix. Give your body what it's asking for: protein. When ghrelin quiets down and leptin starts working properly again, you'll finally experience what true appetite control feels like. It's calm, it's steady, and it's powerful. That's when fat loss stops being temporary and becomes a sustainable way of living. When most people think about losing weight, they focus entirely on the scale. The number going down feels like success. But what that number doesn't show is what's actually being lost. If you're losing muscle along with fat, you're not setting yourself up for lasting success. You're setting yourself up for a slower metabolism and a tougher road ahead. This is why protein isn't just a helpful nutrient. It's absolutely essential if you want real, sustainable fat loss. Here's what happens when you restrict calories or fast without enough protein. Your body still needs amino acids, the building blocks of life, to repair cells, produce hormones, and keep your organs functioning. If you're not providing enough through food, your body starts breaking down muscle tissue to get what it needs. This is called muscle catabolism, and it's one of the biggest hidden dangers of doing fasting or calorie restriction the wrong way. You might think, that's fine, as long as I'm losing weight. But the problem is, muscle is your metabolic engine. Every pound of muscle burns calories even while you rest, not just when you're exercising. The more muscle you have, the higher your resting metabolic rate. That means you can eat more and still maintain or even lose weight. But when muscle is lost, that metabolic rate drops. Your body becomes more efficient at holding on to calories, which sounds good in survival mode but terrible for fat loss. That's why some people can eat very little and still stop losing weight. Their metabolism has slowed because they've lost too much muscle. Then when they go back to eating normally, their body stores fat faster because it's now running on a smaller engine. It's a vicious cycle that leaves people feeling frustrated, stuck, and confused about why they regain weight so quickly. Now, let's flip that around. When you eat enough protein, especially during fasting or calorie reduction, your body gets the amino acids it needs from your food instead of your muscles. That keeps muscle tissue protected. It also helps you recover faster from workouts, build strength, and maintain that lean, toned look most people are after. And since muscle burns calories even when you're not active, preserving it means your metabolism stays high. You're literally burning more fat all day long. Here's a simple way to think about it. Fat loss happens in your fat cells, but fat burning happens in your muscle. Your muscle is the furnace, and protein is the fuel that keeps that furnace running. If you lose muscle, your furnace shrinks and your fat burning slows down. But if you protect muscle, you keep that furnace large and efficient. Your body becomes better at using stored fat for energy. Real-world example. Imagine two people start fasting. One eats mostly low-protein meals when they do eat, maybe some fruit, salad, or toast. The other prioritizes protein, eggs, fish, lean meat, or a shake after workouts. After a month, both might have lost weight. But the first person has lost a mix of fat and muscle, and now their metabolism is slower. The second person, they've lost mostly fat, kept their muscle, and their metabolism is still humming along. The difference shows up not only in how they look, leaner, firmer, stronger, but also in how they feel. The high-protein eater has more energy, better strength, and can maintain results without constant hunger or fatigue. And here's something most people overlook: muscle doesn't just help with fat loss. It improves insulin sensitivity, hormone balance, and longevity. The stronger your muscles are, the better your body handles glucose and keeps blood sugar steady, which means less fat storage overall. That's why maintaining or building muscle through a protein-rich diet and resistance training is one of the most powerful anti-aging and fat-burning strategies out there. If you've ever felt like your metabolism just isn't what it used to be, chances are you've lost some muscle over the years. The good news is you can rebuild it, and protein is the foundation. Every meal you eat that's rich in protein tells your body, preserve what we've got and build more. Combine that with some strength training, and you create a metabolism that's not just active, but resilient. What this means long-term is simple but powerful. You can lose fat without losing strength. You can eat in a way that supports your metabolism instead of slowing it down. And you can achieve a body that looks and feels better, not just smaller. That's what sustainable fat loss really is, not shrinking yourself, but transforming your body into a stronger, more efficient version of itself. When you protect muscle, you protect your metabolism. When you protect your metabolism, fat loss becomes easier, faster, and more permanent. Protein makes all of that possible. When it comes to fat loss, fasting has earned a lot of attention, and for good reason. It gives your body a break from constant eating, helps lower insulin, and encourages fat to be used as fuel. But as powerful as fasting can be, it's not the whole picture. The real key to lasting fat loss isn't just when you eat. It's what you eat when you do. That's where protein takes the lead. Fasting is like pressing the reset button on your metabolism. It helps your body clean up, burn stored energy, and regain balance. But if you don't refuel properly, you're only getting half the benefit. Think of fasting as clearing the clutter and protein as building something strong in its place. Without enough protein, fasting can slow your metabolism, increase hunger, and even cause muscle loss over time. But when you pair fasting with protein, you create the ultimate fat-burning partnership. Protein keeps your metabolism active even during calorie restriction. It supports muscle tissue, which is your body's main calorie-burning engine. The more lean muscle you have, the more calories you burn, not just during workouts, but all day long, even while resting. Fasting alone doesn't build or protect that muscle, but protein does. It's the difference between losing weight and losing fat. Protein also balances your hunger hormones and blood sugar in ways fasting can't do on its own. When you go too long without protein, ghrelin, your hunger hormone, starts to climb, and cortisol increases to keep your energy up. That's when you start craving quick fixes, sugar, bread, or snacks that give a short burst of energy, but leave you worse off later. When you eat protein, it tells your body that you're nourished and safe. Ghrelin drops, leptin kicks in, and hunger fades naturally. Your blood sugar stays steady, and you can make smart food choices without fighting cravings every few hours. This is why people who combine protein with fasting feel so much better. Steadier energy, fewer mood swings, and no more hangry crashes. You're giving your body the signal that it can keep burning fat without stress or deprivation. You're not fighting biology. You're working with it. Here's how it looks in practice. Let's say you fast until noon, then break your fast with a high-protein meal, maybe eggs and avocado or grilled chicken with some vegetables. You're feeding your body nutrients that stabilize blood sugar, preserve lean muscle, and keep hunger low for hours. That means your next meal naturally gets smaller because your body is satisfied. Compare that to breaking your fast with a high-carb smoothie or pastry. Sure, it feels good for a few minutes, but within an hour or two, your blood sugar crashes and you're hungry again. One approach keeps you in fat-burning mode, the other knocks you right out of it. And the benefits go beyond fat loss. Protein-rich diets support hormone health, better sleep, stronger bones, and a sharper mind. Your skin, hair, and nails all depend on amino acids from protein to stay healthy. So even if your goal starts as fat loss, the benefits of eating enough protein extend to every part of your body. It's also more sustainable. Fasting alone can be mentally exhausting if you constantly feel deprived or tired. But when you add enough protein, fasting becomes easier because you're not running on empty. You're fueling smart. You'll find you can go longer between meals comfortably because your body isn't panicking for food. That's what makes this approach something you can maintain for life. Over time, you'll notice that your body composition changes. You might weigh the same, but you'll look and feel leaner, stronger, and more defined. That's the result of preserving muscle while losing fat, something fasting alone rarely delivers. Protein makes every fasting effort count more by protecting what you want to keep and burning what you want to lose. So while fasting is an amazing tool for kickstarting fat burning, protein is what makes those results stick. It's what keeps your metabolism alive, your hormones balanced, and your hunger in check. It's the difference between a short-term win and a long-term transformation. When you fuel your body with the right nutrients, especially protein, you don't have to starve to lose weight. You can eat strategically, feel satisfied, and keep your metabolism humming year-round. That's the real formula for sustainable fat loss: fasting to reset, protein to rebuild, and consistency to keep it going. So as you start applying this, remember, it's not about fasting harder, it's about fueling smarter. Combine the structure of fasting with the power of protein, and you'll find that fat loss becomes easier, energy lasts longer, and results actually stick. And since we're all in this together, share your favorite high-protein meals in the comments. You might inspire someone else to fuel smarter too.